And we are now live.
So now we're going to move on to our last sheet.
Going on that side. Okay, this is a two-sided sheet, moves over onto the other side. And there are extra ones in here.
It's also posted on our website.
You know, the only thing that's really
Without being
hard.
able to use my fingers, I can't get the fingers. You know what I mean?
How come we have a yellow?
Because I got a mask on, I can't lick the fingers.
So I was waiting until you got to done with this question on the last item to understand what to go into the yellow available general fund box. And that's a $10.8 million number right now.
10.8. And you can see, we have decisions here. For example, we have a request for 6 million. Well, if we agreed with that, with out of 10.8, we're done. So some of these you can say, well, we want to do something, but it can't be at the level of the full request. We've got, so I just want to say, just because the figure is here, it's reflecting the level of the request, but
Exactly.
so
And Sarah's gonna keep score for us as we go through, so you understand where you're at.
I actually have 10.68 available. Yeah. The only difference was $1.5 million, right?
Yeah. Oh, the $100,000 extra that we're spending is, okay. I would make it 10.7.
Okay, yeah, 10.7.
We have a slightly different number because of the way the vast and pieces moved in the ARPA
so if I'm
areas.
reading this correctly, we have 10.68 million and our request for 69.
Yes.
I would suggest that there are many things that are not going to see light of day. I think we'll run down through these quite quickly. The 6 million, this is to help the munis and the co-ops with the advanced metering. And anything that got, the house had 5, anything that we add to it would just help reduce the cost, the ratepayers of those entities with net metering. So whether we can do anything or not, I think it's just on here and that's their request. I'm gonna run down through these.
Above the 5.
Above the 5, they wanted 11. Remember, 11 million. Afghan refugees, that was something we talked about. Remember when we did the money for the Ukrainians, and I got up and said that we had because we had the amendment that Senator Rahm introduced and was saying, you know, we're also getting requests, and Senator Ballin had mentioned it as well. I think Senator White, and that we had Afghani refugees here in the state and they needed support and services. And I had said on the floor that we had the request and we'd be considering it. So this is, that's the background of.
Are we gonna put anything in as we go, or?
Well, we can, you know, if we obviously have a refugee population
How
that,
many?
I don't, 100 and, how many Afghani, I know 100 and,
It was between 100 and 150.
that seems like it, yeah. So I would move that some over for now, and then we'll take a look. And I think it was several agencies in the Brattleboro area that are. Conservation districts, we did do the $1 million allocation. They wanted more than that. They all wanted 3 years of training. This simply is the one time that would be for equipment and capital improvements. We don't need to make decisions. We need to go through adult day, 3 million. If there's one that I would say we should move over, and that's current hat and support,
Yeah.
because that really is to help the adults who
It's
is,
similar to what we did for St.
yes.
Joseph's.
So I would say that that one is definite.
So move them to the left.
Yes. Breast milk donor. We did that before. And diapers,
I'm all in on the diaper.
The junior league.
25.
180 for diapers.
That's for the junior league.
That's for the junior league to get credit for diapers.
Well, actually,
I mean, they do it.
but it's done through the food bank and so we don't, which is through DCF. We don't appropriate to the food bank. Breast milk donor, I don't, we gave money before.
Doesn't mean we should give it again.
I don't know, I'm just saying.
I didn't-
Now, this one here goes back, and although it would be in the appraisal and litigation cost section of the bill. And we had talked about the fact that the Trans-Canada dams have been addressed, and this little town has been hit with
I think that we
appraisal.
have to.
And
Does the town own the dam?
no,
Oh, no, it's owned by
if
the power.
they owned the dam, they wouldn't be having a tax to pay.
That's right.
I don't see how we've done everybody
Yeah, I know.
else's.
So I think that one we would move simply because we discussed it before. The fairs,
This was above their request.
no, this is, I think is their request. I don't know, Bobby. Do you have an opinion?
Well, 92, if it's for the fairs, 90,000 isn't very much.
No, this is one time, so it's above what
It
is
is
in the
what's,
base.
it's above what's in the base in the ag central office budget.
I put
I think with all,
50, hit them, I give them 15.
well, we'll see. Okay. We'd like to give them something.
Yeah. You say no one.
I don't know, we've been friends with the fair. I hate to be in the bucket of all of a sudden we're the ones who cut them, but compared to the house. Organic, and now this is just your, the upgrades that have to be,
I thought we were gonna do something with other money, divide it up a little bit.
we have no other source of money. This is it.
I think if you had stayed at the working lands of the house, you might have considered doing it within the working lands program, but you did not stay at the working lands program for the house size.
So we have to pick it up here. Well, you want to do it, right?
Yeah.
All right, so we'll move it over.
What doesn't mean they need to do.
It means that they've got to make physical improvements.
In order for a new company to come in.
Yeah, because they're coming in with bigger trucks, so they've got to upgrade their drives and up to the barn for pickup. And so,
So can I just ask, does this take the people that have already been kicked out and allow them to pick up too? Because they took 20 some odd farms last summer and shut them off.
No, that's to get them back in. So they're back on now with Organic Valley as well as.
Because Organic Valley sent out to 20 some odd farms, said you're out. They've also sent a letter to a number of existing farms and said that if you weren't freestall and you were tie stall,
Yeah.
that they were gonna dump them, I think since they pulled back on that. So you really have two groups, but that first group has already been jettisoned out.
well, maybe they're not in production anymore. They haven't had any market since
No,
last,
it's to get all those in that are having.
that haven't gone out of business, that haven't gone out of business?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, the only reason I had that, the hay for my farm gets shipped to, an organic farmer that, that got shut down.
Yeah, but you
And
should
they-
be back in.
And could they come back in?
Yeah, that's what this is all.
Okay, thank you.
assuming that the entity,
Driveways get widened and, so they can get in there with.
all right, so this is in support of keeping the organic farms in operation. This is 75, I think we have to do that because that's the language that's asking the investment, and we have language that we are including.
It's just to be clear that that money would actually go to the legislature because it's the directive of the oversight committee that would be asking me to do work and you would be sending it over to them.
So I think we have to recognize that. Court diversion, that's, is to fill the back, the shortfall. She had some others, but this was,
Just her number one.
her number one was to fill that, so I think probably that should rise to the top. League of Cities and Towns, the House, through confusion, wanted, it wasn't a matter of they rejected the funding, it got confused, it didn't get included, but this is to allow continued support to our towns since they're dealing with these federal
So
funds.
what's appropriate, what's not.
And also with the IIJ.
Yeah, because it's more the
Yeah.
infrastructure money.
If they make mistakes, they're gonna have to claw back problem.
Understood, but don't they have the money directly put out to them from the feds?
They do, but this is to
No, I
give,
understand it's to give them direction on how to spend the money, but can't they pony up some of the money that they got for their own guidance?
it has to be for permissible use. I don't
But I
know.
would think that's a permissible use to,
Municipal act.
Yeah.
It should be.
to figure out how to spend your money. I mean,
But can you imagine the league trying to get from every town to contribute to it and the mechanics of it for the 250? In other words, this is funding the position. I think Katie Buckley is the person they hired. And otherwise, even if they could, I guess what I would say, Phil, is the technical assistance, if they had to bill every town, this just allows it to get funded all in one, and then they don't have to go back and bill towns and
Yeah,
collect from them.
I'm just trying to think about, some of these, there's no other option. But at least in this case, the towns have other funding. It's just, this makes life easier to provide it for.
And also, some of the towns, if experience would have been in other states, the counties didn't apply for the money because they just didn't want to, they thought it was too complicated, the reporting. And so Steve Klein had an article where it showed a number of areas in this country. The money went unused because they didn't want to apply. So it was a way of making sure that the money came in, first of all, got applied for, and second of all, it's being used in a way that's permissible. So technically, you could do it a different way, but this was seemed to be the most streamlined. So I'm gonna move it for now. The food bank, the House put in 1.5. They also had some language that kind of restricted how the money would be used. At a minimum, they would like to have that language removed, so it's simply the 1.5. We got a note, Senate Health and Welfare supported, well, we got, I don't think, in one breath, they didn't support it, in another place, they did. It got kind of confusing. And the food bank's request was just 6 million. Once again, this is a negotiable figure because we only have 10.68.
And the amount that you would carry here is the amount above the 1.5, because that's in the House construct already.
Above the 1.5, which would be what?
Well,
If you
whatever
decide to do
amount
more
we
than 1.5,
decide.
it's only the amount above that 1.5 that we can carry against your house.
Well, you could.
So what did Health and Welfare want to do with this?
Well, in one breath, they didn't want to fund it, and then they said they supported 3.5.
Yeah.
But we could round it up to the 2 million, like Alice just suggested, which would be 500.
Okay, that'd be good.
And,
So you-
and get rid of the language.
And we probably move it out of the climate section and into the community section.
Can I just ask, that weren't last year the diapers and the, breast milk kind of included with the,
The diapers did go through the food bank,
Right.
And I think the breast milk goes through another,
but it went through DCF. DCF then negotiated with the food bank, and rather than having the Junior League do all the, reporting, and they don't have that administrative overhead, but the capacity the food bank does.
and the breast milk went through where?
I can't remember, I remember having to.
Well, that was brilliant.
So are we saying that we would carve out the money for the diapers?
From this.
No, I think it would be additive.
Okay.
It would be, and I don't know about the breast milk.
I just can do something for the breast milk, if Sally is do.
It was the Junior.
Breast milk's do, really?
No.
The diapers are Junior League.
The breast milk, we did, I know. we did that.
What did we do?
But I can't remember off the top of my head.
Do
We started high and
agriculture?
low to figure out where it went.
We're diversifying ag. I think we should get with that. Don't you, Bobby?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that.
So are you actually putting the breast milk on the?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm trying to get this.
I would put the breast milk in.
We did not move it yet.
Yeah, no,
We haven't moved it yet. He's saying he would like to move it in.
Well, let's wait.
Last year it went to
I agree with
DCF for a
Senator
grant to the
White.
Vermont
Senator
Donor Milk
White.
Center.
For the.
The Vermont Donor Milk Center through DCF.
Okay. All right,
I think
Alice.
it's hard to say that, no.
All right, well,
They could
Well,
go
we're
with
not saying
cans.
no.
Yes, good.
they could what?
Go with canned milk.
Well, that used to be that whole carnation.
Well, there is, no, formula, Oh, but there is.
Yeah, I remember what Chelsea.
No, there's some for, particularly for, health reasons. in
Yeah, I know,
communities that-
It's hard to tell.
All right, judiciary, this
they
is,
actually are required to do this.
I know, I feel we should do it. I don't think this is an optional
This
because
is
with
Which
more,
Language.
Language
yes,
access
so that
program.
people.
the federal requirement.
Yeah, so I think we should. Criminal justice, that is 50,000 for the new, to do the entrance exam. Remember,
Yeah, I thought we put it in last year. I messed up.
well, now you have another opportunity.
Now I have another
To
opportunity.
mess up or to put it in.
It's gonna
I would
come,
suggest we put it in, but it-
Do it for less.
Dick, aren't those exams,
Craig,
once it gets set up, aren't they all the
this is
same?
one time. This is just a one
this is
time.
this is to develop a new written entrance exam to assess the recruits.
Yes,
You know,
there can't be
the
more
time-
than 200 questions. I mean,
Well, but I think what they're trying to do
It's
is
cultural
to be more,
sensitivity, remember?
so they know the difference between detox and sober beds.
Not only that, we found there was, and he was featured, I think a Somali
Yes,
officer.
oh, yeah. what is
And,
this?
but the way the traditional wording and how it was interpreted, was,
They couldn't pass the
no,
test.
He knows, very bright guy.
so a lot of it had to
He's
do
in
with, yeah, but it was because there was a cultural insensitivity in the way the test was designed. It was designed for probably people like you, Bobby.
Well, hell, anybody could pass it. Sears could even pass it, it was designed for me. Well, we're the same age,
I
so.
thought they redid it, so.
I don't think so. I think we
No,
talked about it.
we were gonna do it last year and somehow I miscommunicated. I'll blame it on Zoom.
Okay, well, let's keep going here. We have 10 million. And the next
And we
is,
have
this
14
is
million.
Windsor, state-owned. That was in the capital bill, but it's not ARPA eligible. And we want to defer that for now.
Defer.
Unless Senator Nick wants it.
I mean, they do need to do something over
The
there.
parent child centers, you know,
Like
they
the
were our
50,000,
largest.
You know,
producer.
given the way they treated the, the proposals to perhaps put a
At least.
juvenile center there, they were just as bad as the people from Newbury. With all due respect to the senator from Newbury.
They were, they didn't want it, that's right. Town
But they were very,
I know,
I thought they were.
yeah, the town manager absolutely doesn't want any states.
All right, so are we gonna defer that for now?
Yeah.
This is the parent-child center request. They want, we gave them 1.5 base increase. They had two parts of it was, 3.7.
They were our biggest attendants at our public hearing.
No, the water quality people,
They helped.
the district said they had more and therefore they should have gotten their money.
So
This is too much.
just so we know that the Health and Welfare Committee did ask for 3.7.
Well, that was in their bill that we passed out.
Yeah, I understand that.
When you said, well, look at what we have for money, 10.6 million, and you look at 3.7.
Yeah.
I don't think it's
Too much.
realistic. The question is, do we want to do anything with one time?
I
Yes,
think we should do something with one time.
Depends on how it will
Well,
fit
we
in.
gave them
All right,
already
we'll
one
go back
million.
into-
Many of them have very old buildings that need to be rehabilitated.
How much?
Well, if you do 1 million, that's 10% of what we have to work with, so I'm just, so, we can tentatively put in money. We'll have to work backwards to see what else, because we've got some that we haven't.
Now, the arts, we gave them quite a bit, I thought.
Well, this is capital needs.
Yeah.
And they had asked for, they got money in terms of the,
Operating and.
Operating and loss.
The carve out that you did in H159 yesterday.
but this would be for, this is for, well, I don't know, if the Flint had to do something to, it's kind of a variation. Libraries had gotten some help, but that qualified through the ARPA capital.
And that was through institutions, right?
So, capital needs, we'll hold it.
Yeah, I would hold that too. I mean,
Workers'
it's not
comp,
programming, it's upkeep.
Yeah, I thought we.
I thought we took off case management.
I forgot to strike it through so that everyone can, the one at the Attorney General, it's already funded in the IT modernization, so you don't have
Cross
to.
that off?
Yeah.
What about
Yeah, we
workers'
did
comp?
that.
Wait a minute, workers' comp is a deficit, and the question is, do we want to make any progress? It's an internal deficit.
I thought we,
I thought there was a surplus.
This is the state.
No.
Well, I'm thinking UI.
You're thinking you are, you're in the trust fund. This is, we're a self-insured employer, and so we have a deficit of 6 million, and the question is, do we want to make any progress in reducing that
I
deficit?
think we better let that.
We're giving money out, and we're in debt.
$1 million.
Well, we're adding millions here pretty quick.
We can hold, not make a decision on it. We have judiciary court technology fund. I don't.
Wait, what happened to A&R water?
Oh, and our water quality, sorry, that's testing wells and education. And they had, the other thing is that we built our budget and giving targets to,
Across the.
across the whole for economic development and workforce, that, lower, we had allocated more money there than the House did. And so our water quality target, the target they got was based on a target that we set kind of informally for ourselves of 91 million.
So 94.
94.
Because we added to the failing wastewater.
So we have 94.
And they did 107.
So,
And the governor had proposed 72, or 72.
so,
So we're way up on that, so we don't, why would we give them more?
Well, this piece is not a part of the items that are in the water ARPA.
This is to help people who have wells to test for, whether they're,
Whether you have arsenic or not, or.
yeah,
other things, but don't you
or
pay
they
for
could
it?
have bacteria, they
Yeah,
could
sure.
have whatever.
But you pay for it yourself. Who does this go to?
Goes into A&R, I guess, to help some people
Well,
test.
they do certain projects that are based upon income for low income. They can't pay for testing, and they also do, some things for septic for people, below certain income levels.
Yeah, but according to people
Well,
at the
why don't we-
lab, A&I doesn't
Look, I
pay
think at this point, I'm gonna just go down through them and we'll see whether any of them, we just wanna say, it's nice, but we can't afford it, or we definitely wanna come back and reconsider it, because we're gonna be moving very closely, very quickly against 10 million. So Core Technology Fund, which,
That was one that the issue brought up. They're also concerned about their revenue source because of the lower.
we weren't gonna put that to the top necessarily.
A lot of money.
On IT.
For IT.
This came over from Human Services. This
This is a data system. It's not the program itself. It's for children integrated system, the search system.
They have a separate data system for integrated
Yeah,
services.
each one of the areas apparently. This would, the Senate Health and Welfare proposal is 312 to expand to 4 areas over 2 years. This would be the expansion to all the different,
IT.
district. Yeah, it's the Children's Integrated Service Data System.
So we could go with the health and welfare proposal for fractions.
Yes.
And the Health and Welfare recommended how much?
313,000 for 4.
All right, let's not make a decision. Let's keep going.
This was a bill that passed out and it was money to ACCD to look at how, like, there's downtown designations and village designations and various designations. We had stripped the money out when the bill came through. We said we would keep it on our one-time list.
Why can't they do that out of their existing?
Well, I don't think they asked for it. I think the bill that came out of Senate, economic development asked for it.
Can,
Share that.
Okay. Crime victims, this is
Yeah.
this is their add-on request, Dick.
Yep, and I support all of it, but the key one to me is the Vermont Network programs. And I support the 549 or as close as we can get, the 48,000. Provides legal services. It's,
Well, you're gonna have to pare down a little bit.
I understand, so I was just suggesting that the
Which is your
308,000.
308 is the
Yeah,
one
is
that,
the number one.
okay.
308.
Yeah, well, we're doing, and if we can do some of the other one, the 549, it'll help with some.
Well, would you put that ahead of the bridge funding, the legal services?
I think the legal services. Helps.
I don't think the House funded it.
I think,
The house fund it.
the last one on that list,
Yeah,
I think what's gonna happen over in the capital bill, they've been withholding their capital grants for 2 years, and I think they're gonna take that money
And use it to fund the move?
to help fund the move, so we shouldn't have to,
All right, so you think that's in the capital bill?
well, I think it's coming.
All right, well, they need more time. Senator
Yeah,
Bennett
they're
came
gonna
in,
have until next year anyways.
no, I'm talking about, Senate institution needs more time on the capital bill. Let's keep going.
Well, hopefully we get it before we all go home.
Well, 5 million to help people hot water replacement. Governor's Institute wants 385. Habitat for Community, Humanity, 10 million.
We
Wait,
get,
can we go back to the switch and say the hot water meters?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd like to cut that way down.
Well, we haven't agreed we're doing anything on
Oh,
it yet.
okay, good.
I can cut it from where it's at right now.
Nothing.
Do we usually fund the government's?
Something.
I think we have been, and it's been level funded, and we all got the letter. Don't you remember? We all got the
Yeah.
letter.
I vaguely remember.
It just came in 3 days ago.
Right. They're in the, aren't they in something and they're wanting more?
They want to be able to restore it.
They want to line it up in an AOP.
But
Give them something.
they were cut from before.
No,
We can open the AOE.
Did we
But the
level fund them
document-
in the base?
yes, they've got money in the base. Well, maybe it could come out of the governor's budget because it's the governor's institute. I think that's.
I'll suggest that.
Would you please?
Are you? Okay.
I'm gonna keep going.
Thanks, Adam.
Habitat Humanity, we already know that VHCB does some work through Habitat. I don't know, this is, we can't vet these because, very well, because it's just, we all got sort of, give us 10 million for this, and we'd like, X amount for that, so. Regional Housing Assistance, I can't even tell you where this came from, but I do know that a letter went out because of the rental money, the program that said you're eligible for $21,000 from the federal rental assistance program. So,
So that's not.
so I would suggest that perhaps 21,000 per household is more than we could, is more than this. Conservation districts, that was the 3-year ag resource training body.
Conservation districts.
And we've already, and we did the equipment and we've done the million, so, okay. Food plan.
The Governor's Institute base is 186,000, almost 186.
Oh, so that-
It's probably been that way for many years, the base.
So they'd like more than double it. No, we haven't decided. We're gonna have to go back and out of the ones and just see how much we've got to work with and move backwards on it. The food plan,
AAFM.
that's ag, food and marketing. I don't know what that is.
It was in the House budget
Oh,
under
is
ARPA. and it
Oh,
was
is
in
that the food supply? And
Yeah.
there's, okay, oh, I thought we.
You clearly took it out of the ARPA category and said you would consider it in your one-time.
Yeah, we didn't need that.
No, I think so. All right. Then we got, Energy Education sent us a letter, and they used to get more funding from BEIC, and they would like us to replace, that program. Greenways, we are already doing, more. First of all, the, Transportation Committee had recommended, helping Bass with his trail maintenance equipment, and also raising the BOREC from 3 that the House passed to 5, and that's trails. And so we have done quite a bit on that front already, just not to this particular group.
You could draw a line through the next one. I forgot to take this one off.
Good.
You've already,
Stick a few more of those in there, Stephanie, so it's not some that go out.
Criminal, let's see, keep going, Better Places grants. The house, there was some reference to Better Places, right, in the economic development?
So they allowed that $485,000 to be found within the existing resources of the agency.
Okay.
It did not add,
This goes out to communities, and it seems like with the 176 million that's gone out, they should have, these are relatively small expenditures. Unless somebody feels that we would move it ahead of some of the others. Criminal Justice Council, that's, I think, the additional request.
No, development of action plan, what's that?
No.
Well, we
I
just
forgot.
put it on. And then everyone eats, I got a letter saying, well, FEMA may continue the program and we might have to match it, so why don't we reserve 1.8 million? And that was a program that was 100% federally funded.
Is
So,
that the one where the restaurants make the?
yeah, so,
Everyone eats, probably.
yeah. I would not put that
I-
at higher.
I would not put that high. I think during the middle of COVID, it helped both individuals and restaurants. But with as short as we are for money, I think that's a little
Well,
much.
considering how our meals, rooms and meals revenues are looking, somebody's doing some business. Because they're way above estimates.
Yeah,
They do a lot of takeout business.
I know they do, so, all right. Well,
but McDonald's.
I don't know what,
gonna start.
Justice Involved Youth, I put it on, it came over from Health and Welfare. United Way Working Bridges, they started a program and it's to help employers with employees and, somebody who used to work there was kind of surprised that they were coming in asking for money. It's a new program, it would be, and, we're having trouble funding what we have, but this is new and they say does good things to, help employers.
Sure it does.
And then once again, people living unhoused. We don't,
I know I can't remember the sheet that's being
So why don't
early
we-
in the session.
all right, so
I just want to say, before we just end anything that was related to workforce is not on this list because we have the Corral $26.9 million in workforce, and that would include that early educator workforce program at the Selling Center, the FAFSA funds, the mental health workforce, all the healthcare pieces, the trade pieces,
all of
all those requests are not showing here because those are, we've corralled the money, a chunk of money for workforce.
26.9 million, and Senator Sorokin's committee is going through all these requests that were included in 703, as well as anything else that's come in subsequent to that. And they're gonna be making recommendations, but we've given them the allocation that they have to work with, and there are a lot of requests, let me tell you.
Okay, so I just want to write it down now.
So it would be grants to the communities where you have a homeless or transitional housing.
I think we bought enough hotels and all.
The idea of that would be a grant to help the communities.
So what we have here is,
You have a handful of pieces that you put in the column.
yes, we do. And
And I think Sarah can tell us what those totals so far.
Yeah, but I want to make sure I captured all of them.
we did the refugee,
Okay,
we did Kern Hatton definitely. I think
We did diapers.
we did diapers definitely.
We did the
Yes,
children's
it's for
band.
the breast milk, Alice.
Breast milk is on the Health and Welfare Committee's list too.
Thank you. 267, we're gonna, deal with that. Fairs, I was gonna go with 90. We're just doing 50.
I'd support that, I just.
Richie wants 50.
I'd just being cheap, 90s. more, but Richie.
We don't have very much money in this pile.
I know, but for
Or
40,000,
Well, I love. the
don't you love the
fairs.
agricultural
I love the
community?
fairs,
Well, all
yes.
right.
Give me some give me some breast milk and, give me some breast milk and diapers and I'll.
Where is,
Go to the fair.
where is it going? Where is it going?
Oh, it's a small
That
community.
is darker.
Oh.
Mhm.
It's on the Missisquoi River.
It's not,
Residential.
it's not.
You got your darkers.
Well, let them.
I'll talk to you later about the milk.
Oh,
Breast milk?
I'm gonna keep going. We wanted to make sure that our organic farmers could, keep their their purchasers. 75,000, 67,000, 250, 500.
Wait, where's
120.
where's 500? I thought it was judiciary
We went
120.
down to food
No,
bank.
Food bank is 500.
Oh, $500.
500,000.
You're gonna give them 500?
That's all I did.
I mean, they're getting money all over. 120 and 50.
And then I don't have you having moving anything else over. Yeah.
parent child.
Well, we had 308,
I had the 308.
036, and then the question is, one time to parent-child center.
So you've spent a little more than, almost 2.7 million, you have a little bit more than 8 million remaining.
That's all we spent?
With parent-child center, are we giving them 3.7?
No, we haven't agreed to anything.
Oh, okay, good.
I suggest 1 million. up here.
Yep, I
How much-
agree
wait a
with
minute,
the
how much,
million.
how much,
That's what I
there are 15 of them?
Parent child centers?
Yep.
I don't know, she, you're okay.
682.
You're more optimistic.
If you pay for like 25,000 per center, what does that come to?
250.
475 or something, 375, 15 centers times 25,000, is that what you said?
Yeah.
375,000.
Let's start there and then see what we can move up. 20, that would give 25,000 to each center to, I don't, for example,
We can't do much for 25,000.
well, then if you want to go 50, double it. My only point is, we haven't done anything to help
Yeah.
advance metering
Let's go 50.
We gotta do meter,
You've got it.
Why do we have to do meter?
because,
because you gotta get
If you-
smart with
Yeah,
smart
that's-
meter.
I already got a smart meter.
yeah,
Yeah,
but,
Other people don't.
We
they,
got a lot of them that are still using
The
dumb.
other ones, like Green Mountain Power, they got money in the last round from the feds.
and Burlington Electric.
They did mine 10 years ago. Bob Hartwell was the
Yeah, but
senator
you
who
got it paid
tried to
for.
kill the smart meters, if you remember.
You
Well,
got
probably
it
because they
paid
send out.
They send out fives. Now, if you remember, he was chair of
Sending you
natural
five.
resources at the time, I believe.
Yeah.
I would, the thing is, these small munis like Lindenville Electric, you've got them all around.
They need-
And then your co-ops, the big ones already got the money and era back in the Great Recession. So if they want
111.
How
11.
much have you got down for the child?
It will take 6 to do the municipals.
What's that?
It will take 6 to do the municipals.
You mean to do, 6 along for municipals, not
Yeah,
counting the
you have
co-ops.
it.
Right. Yep, not counting the co-ops.
But we can't do 6 because we haven't got 6, but we might be able to do a third.
I mean, they have to have a certain amount of money in order to.
So you
do it.
have
They can't
5
do
in the
project.
base already from the house.
Yeah.
And 6 is the remaining to do both the munis and the co-ops, right?
Yes, yes. Uh-huh.
So they aren't gonna do them all at once, so if we,
So
Well, if you,
No, they've got to get them. We could take something out.
so,
We say take it out.
If you did,
you did 8, move it up 5 to 8.
if you took, so add 3 million here on this one.
and then that budget adjustment, we can give them another 3 if.
Right, did we put the conservation districts in for their,
I don't think.
No, we didn't.
No,
you want to do that or
We did
not?
1 million before, this would be 1 time.
This is one time for equipment.
Yeah.
And the other is the adult days. And then this is the help with the.
I would, if we do anything in that line, and I think we should do something in that line
For adult days,
for adult days.
Yeah.
I think we should do something for adult
we
days.
definitely should.
All right, well, this is to help keep them in business. Well, you may have to go back to your parent-child center a little bit. I don't think at least $1 million.
Yeah, I was thinking $1 million, but the other thing is, we put language in last year
About the,
that reporting what their financial situation was quarterly. I would want to make sure that we lifted that same
what are we up
language.
to now?
We have a little bit more than 4 million left.
Even after we gave the money to the metering?
Yep. And I got you the parent-child centers in at 750, which is the 50,000 for the 15. And I did 248 for the conservation districts. Okay, yeah.
What did you do for meter? Like,
We have 3
3 million?
3 million. They needed 11, and this would give them 8 toward the 11. I mean, we can give them a little bit more. It's right on the very top.
Top one.
You know, but they are not gonna do all of
Under
that
one-time general
work
fund
at
available.
once. I'm not arguing against giving them any money, but,
You think the eight's fine?
I think the
do.
eight's fine.
And then catch it up next year.
We can catch up in the future.
So it'd be 5 that's in the bid now.
No. Like them 3 on top, so
Yeah.
total they're done.
Right. The other,
About the 550 to the Center for Crime Victim Services.
Did we agree to $1 million for the adult days?
Yeah.
I would say that we should lift the language from last year that talked about them doing quarterly reports about their financial situation. Because to break up the money, Dale has got to have something to work off. So
all right, well, we can work on some language. You have the refugee in, right? Okay. And you have the breast milk.
Yep, and the diapers.
And the diapers.
Yeah, Richie's on, because, you know,
Can we do a little more of the 549, 049 for the sub-grant to the Center for Crime Victim Services?
You know, we did like give
These
it
are the loss
250.
of federal funds, and we need to, you've all got this criminal justice thing, and there's suggestions here. And we should probably put some language in to start to begin to have a real discussion, whether it's justice oversight or not. Somebody's gonna make some decisions.
What about the failed water,
Where's that?
wastewater or failed water?
So that was part of the 94 million of ARPA in water. And that brought the failed water up from 2 to 5 in the 94 Senate total.
You put it in there.
Yeah, it's out of ARPA dollars.
Okay, so you've already accommodated
I have
that.
yes.
Is
That's,
that,
yeah.
I mean, obviously, if you're low income in your
Yep.
septic system or your well water, you know, and
Yeah.
apparently the demand for help in that area.
So that one's off of this list?
No, it was
No,
on this list
no,
because
no.
it was, you had accommodated in the ARPA pieces.
Well, do you want to, this is one time, so, is this
Well,
gonna
that's
be?
why I'm suggesting that there be a study, you know, the justice oversight, take a look at this and go through it carefully. Dan Dickerson's, and talk about how we're gonna replace those records. Scratching our heads and going around and around over this, but, you know, it's never.
Well,
gonna
if
get
we picked up 2.5 of, the cost, that's not inconsequential
No, it's
on
not.
base. I'm just wondering, do these lend themselves to grants then?
Well, the problem is they were funded through federal.
I know,
local funds that have been cut.
So the question, this is one-time money, so I'm just, does it lend itself to where the need is, or is it?
I believe it does,
Okay.
and I'm not sure who all the sub-grants are, but,
Well, do you want to just?
it's like bridge money to get us to try to, and I wanted to add language to have justice oversight, look at the alternatives and get very serious about it using, this February 6th, 2022 document from.
Well, I think, all right, you're talking about over and above what we've already moved on to the
Yeah.
general fund, which
Yeah.
is not inconsequential.
No, I realize that.
All right. Testing residential wells. I'm just going back to, you wanted to do more. I guess the question is, you wanted previously supported by Boca. I mean, that's backfilling on a federal grant. Do you want to, I'm just looking at the total, how much, Sarah?
Did you agree to the $1 million for adult days?
Yes.
2.7 million, a little bit more. 2.8.
So
you got 2.7 left.
maybe we should move the adult days up. They wanted 3, to do $1.5 million and hope that we can get something.
Do you want to revisit the workers' comp deficit?
Yeah, I do.
So are you moving adult days to $1.5 million?
1.5. And workers' comp, we could, is this on the governor?
This was in GovReg.
Do we have enough to do 2 to reduce it by a third?
Yep.
Okay.
Now you have $269,000 left.
You want to give that to crime victims,
Yeah.
grants, 250.
Yeah.
Okay. All right,
Each one of them, 250.
that would be some
Money.
grants, so now we've spent all the money. And we have fulfilled our obligation to the State College Transformation Plan. And, I think,
And that saves us some money next year.
So it reduces, doing it at 14.9 reduces the bridge pressure next year.
so are we gone through all the ups and, requests? And
What do we do for testing wells?
we haven't done anything
Oh,
for
okay,
testing.
that's fine.
Not paid to get your well test.
Yeah, okay.
Poor people have trouble doing that.
Look at that.
What?
I can remember having, filling out the our well, not that we're doing
I
that.
think that
They all go in.
if it closes out the money, you have a piece of language you want to.
I said that what I wanted with the adult days is to take the same language out of last year's, that quarterly they have to do the financial report to Dale, because if they're going to have to split up the money.
But you had a childcare piece of language.
Oh, yes.
Jane, how did we come out with our,
And then there's the chief prevention
Wait,
officer.
just a second. What about the community justice centers?
Where are they?
Now, they asked for $1 million. And that was base, right?
Where are
They're on another sheet now, I should be finding
There's
there.
language on the justice reinvestment too, was what you talked about yesterday, and that permanent. Right. As, assuming we can continue to.
Well, we might have a little, particularly with the position, so I'm just wondering, the justice centers,
Yeah,
I think are just,
And we have, I think, 300, what do we have in the base available?
Probably gave you
No.
Yes.
Sarah?
Reach out what she's doing. We did the first part, we didn't do the second part, and 125,000 was coming
do you
from.
want to put some into the
The
justice
same-
centers? They're about $1
same
million,
deals.
but shall we put 250?
250 would be great.
All right.
Where's that?
It's on the,
That's under-
on the
the
sheet.
base.
It's on the base sheet.
When you save
We
money.
save
they
some money on the positions, but the justice centers are, okay. All right,
So
yes.
this, that is the second piece of, and I mentioned it yesterday, it would come out of federal money.
No,
It,
that's on the base list.
it would be for grants for the classes.
Well, the first-
The first is the tech center.
Yeah, we approved
Which
that.
we approved that. The second piece is for courses, and the money would come out of the same federal pot to do that.
But it says it's not courses, it says for educated improvement and outreach.
Yes, it is. But part of this is grants for the students to move on. That's part of the way they move the students on.
Why doesn't it say grants?
Because part of it is for outreach to the students, and there's a piece of it that is grants. But it's for that whole effort.
Can we add grants so that it's clear?
No. All right, I guess what you're saying is shall be subgranted to provide grants,
Yep, that's fine.
What you really want to do is provide grants to be an incentive, to be a recruitment,
Yes.
Typo somewhere.
I get,
The grants, most of the others are.
we'll figure something
Who is
out.
the Vermont Association for the Education of Young Children? Who is that?
Oh, it's been in place for years
For
now.
years.
I'm not sure it makes it clear if, to provide grants to, that would incent students to
And quite frankly, a lot of the students that are at the tech centers, and we've got several, will be prime
Does it-
candidates
does
to
it-
help them move along.
The money is to, within the DCF child development. You're saying you shall grant it to the Vermont Association for Education for
I'll send it to
Children.
the PDF.
And that association make some grants for or awards of some sort
Because I
to
think,
individuals.
I think what we're trying to do is make sure it's clear that the money is being used to provide grants to incent students to engage in childhood education.
And so who is, for the Vermont Association of Early Education of Young Children, would they be making grants to individuals or grants to other organizations to incent individuals to be?
Bureaucrats
I
rather
think
than
it's
directly to
individuals.
Okay, so we'll make that clear.
To students.
Yeah, we'll make,
Give it to students, yes.
yeah.
Yeah, we want students, not
This is-
bureaucrats.
This is not to bureaucrats,
Okay.
this is, you're educating
All right.
kids at the tech centers, and then you're helping.
All right, so you wanna provide grants as, to incent students to,
Step into that employment.
right.
Yeah.
All right, make it clear, it's to the students, not to the paid professionals. Other language that we have? We had that one language about making it clear that prevention efforts, particularly as more money goes
There you
in,
go.
would be really coordinated and would be part of that's why we put the position in. And so we want to make sure when we're starting getting these requests from the administration, that it's not just the individual department or an individual program, that in fact, it's really coming into a more systematic response to these efforts. So it's really recognizing we created a position, it's similar like on racial equity. This is where we want to have that kind of oversight review that we are saying to people, we put that position in for a very good reason. All this ad hoc where you're doing yours and you're doing yours really needs to be made much more coherent and more cost effective and so forth.
Says all budgets and policies.
It's Monica Hutt.
Well, this is Monica.
All spectrum of the prevention continuum. This
We'll
shall
go through
include
them.
prevention, treatment, and recovery efforts.
So that's what
She'll
we're,
supervise that.
yeah, she'll.
Somebody's got a handle on it, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, wish we had this a long time ago. Using money left and right out of tobacco. settlement funds.
And I think Monica is good at what she does.
Other language. Michael Grady came in and he said he was, he had a doctor's appointment, but he said he would do the revised language to move the water quality reference.
I thought we.
He
had
did,
that.
he did send that, and he also has some PCB testing language for.
I didn't want to put that in yet because that hasn't been vetted.
Okay,
And
so,
when he talked to me, he had not really talked to the housing folk to see if that would,
So I was just looking at this scroll.
But Michael did send that with that upgrade.
so we've already got that.
We should have.
We got it, I put it in, just a little
The cost
suggestion.
register.
Yeah,
All right, so we had to rewrite one section
Maybe share
on the beds to make it very clear.
Then she
around-
did that.
Yeah. No, to make it clear that those beds,
The $2
are
million of additional,
to deal with the
Capacity.
sober beds,
Oh, yeah,
to
yeah.
avoid incarceration.
Yeah.
The other question I would really like, and that is with the parent-child center appropriations,
so we're
I
back.
would really like to link that additional money to make it clear. And this ties back to the UVM study, that we really want to put a priority or an emphasis that these programs would serve the families with children who are at greatest risk of coming into the child welfare system. That was a recommendation from the University of Vermont that we should do more to invest in prevention. And they referenced that whole parent-child center programming as an area that they viewed would do that,
How do
particularly
you-
young children.
How do you get those children into the centers?
You know,
The parents won't send them.
It's the whole family. It's trying to get the whole family. And so they're a resource to the DCF workers. And I was talking to our parent-child center director, and she was talking about, which is, I think, a transformation, because it used to be, we don't want to be somehow the SRS workers sort of, cast with a cloud over their head. They have the power to remove children, but they have worked much more cooperatively, particularly with families that need additional support. And so I would really like to tie that investment and recognition back to, and if there's some way, maybe Katie or Jen or somebody who's done a lot of, that we can somehow put something in, because I want to recognize that they play a critical role in protecting the children and serving the children of the state. And so if they can help us end that trend of being an outlier in the number of children we bring into custody, that would be, to me, something that
You
is,
could save one
That's what's
child,
troubling me about the prevention
one child in every county.
is that is true prevention, what they do. They, they have mothers, at least in my boys, parent-child center, who are, their children are in the childcare slot, but the parent is working on educational, job training, etc. So they are actually preventing both all kinds of things. And I don't think we recognize sometimes what different organizations do in prevention. And when we say prevention, we see these collaboratives who, work in schools or whatever, but there's a lot of prevention that goes on in these types of programs. It should be hopefully that's something Monica can expand beyond what is seen as prevention.
well, I hope that can happen, and that's why after-school programs are another example. Mentoring is another example, where actually the child or the parents are getting the benefit of the service. So if we can think of some language that would tie that recommendation.
We'll take a shot at it, and then the goal would be to, tomorrow, having
A document that we can,
review and actually vote on tomorrow.
you realize it's only a little after 4 and we're put together.
The whole budget.
And so there will probably be, once you have that document to review, there will probably some changes that have to happen after that.
I'm hoping, we're on the floor tomorrow at 11:30,
Okay.
right? That's Friday, 11:30. What is this?
5 or 6.
I'll take a draft on that. Sober events.
So instead of the STARS program.
That's the updated one?
Yeah.
Yeah, because this one that just handed out was sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
I was gonna read this one.
It's in your
didn't work.
inbox, Senator Weston.
Oh,
It's in your inbox.
No, this one didn't work.
that one didn't work. Chrissy just handed.
Bobby,
Here's a new one coming your way.
read that.
Give me a copy.
Okay, thank you.
So my question is, should we try to, if we're not gonna be on the floor that long, should we try to start at 12:30?
Remember, we're going at 1 to the court.
Oh, and you're going to,
Well,
I'm going.
I'd like to go,
You should
but
go.
my problem is I have to leave at 2:30, and so if that holds up me, my part of the budget getting done, I'll skip the Judge Warple's.
I said I would go with Alex.
I'm going, yeah.
well, we can review it, what time is that, 1?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you can, and your committee's meeting all morning?
Yeah, but my,
So we're gonna work tonight and we'll need time in the morning.
You might
as
just
well.
look at your sections,
yeah,
and
You
not,
need the time to vote it, actually.
we do need a time to vote, so we have to, how late is, how long would the swearing in take?
probably a little while.
I don't know.
A long while?
I don't know.
I don't really know.
My problem is I have to be leaving here at 2:30.
I understand. So I am going to suggest that those of us who are not going, do the review as best we can, and then we will come back, say, no later than 2:15 to vote.
And then we will continue to improve, the edits that come. We'll continue
So,
to-
well, that should work, that gives you an hour.
Pay attention here.
So,
For a second, pay attention for a second.
because your conversation is being all live, everybody can hear your conversation. So, I don't know, it may be budget related, but what I'm trying to make clear is our scheduling for tomorrow. And that is, 3 people want to go to the swearing in, the new justice.
Yes.
So we're going to start meeting at 12:30.
Okay.
And then you'll have to leave. I want you to look at your sections, and if your sections aren't really subject to change, then don't worry, but some would be. And then you have to be back at 2:15, and hopefully we have identified anything that needs correction or whatever. And we will vote the budget tomorrow at 2:15. And then you can be able to leave at 2:30. And then we have met our timeline for Friday. And I think on language, we're not too bad off, frankly.
No, I think, there's clearly things that need rereading and editing and.
There's a language on the victims, Center for Crime Victim Services, the funding of the 2.6.
And that's-
Are we gonna try to do that?
So,
No, it's fine because I'm, at this point, I think we're done. The committee's done for today. I'm going to